Shalom, family. The topic on tonight is don't believe the hype. This is still captivity. This is a lesson that I prepared a while back. And I was actually going to use this during the 4th of July. I thought it would be fitting to use it then, but I never had an opportunity to use it during 4th of July. But now that we're in the midst of the Feast of Tabernacles, I think it's fitting to do it now, because the entire Feast of Tabernacles is a memorial for the children of Israel to dwell in booths or in tents when the Most High God brought us out of Egypt, brought us out of captivity, brought us out of oppression. And it is a reminder to remember the works that the Most High God performed for us when he did indeed bring us out of the land of captivity. And here it is this day, 2023, the children of Israel, children of Judah, if you will, are trapped in captivity. But for many of our people, they don't think it's captivity. They believe this land to be their land. They believe this country to be their home, right? And they have no desire to leave this place. And when you try to talk to them on a deep spiritual level, to try to articulate to them why this place is still captivity, why this is the land of oppression, they don't get it. Their eyes are blinded, their ears are blocked, their heart is hardened. They don't get it. Doesn't matter how many examples you bring out, how many scriptures you read to them and recite, it doesn't matter. They still believe this place to be an oasis, a paradise. That the American dream is obtainable. Okay, so the title again is Don't Believe the Hype. This is still captivity. Before I get into the scriptures, I wanted to play this video. It's a little short video by Dr. Umar Johnson, King Consciousness himself. And he's just going into some of the fallacies of what black people, especially black people, think of America with the pursuit of the American dream and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and play the video, and then after I'm going to go into the scriptures. So I'm going to go ahead and play right now.
For racism to succeed, some blacks must be successful. You need a LeBron. You need an Oprah. You need a Tyler Perry. You need a Sean Carter. You need a Beyonce Knowles. You need a Sean Puffy Combs. You need a Robert Johnson. Why do you need successful black people if you want to destroy our black people? Because in order to brainwash the other ones into believing that your failure is not due to systemic discrimination, it's due to the fact that you're not intelligent enough or you're not working hard enough. The black millionaire and billionaire class is one of white supremacy's greatest arguments to defend itself against accusations of racism. Because Oprah Winfrey is not going to indict the system. LeBron James is not going to indict the system. Tyler Perry is not going to indict the system because they made their money through the system. And because they're at the top of black society, they know how powerful white folks really are. They know how unfair the game really is. They know me being here is a privilege that white people gave me. At the end of the day, all of our black millionaires and billionaires are owned by the white power structure.
Okay. So I agree wholeheartedly with what Dr. Umar Johnson said in that clip. It does blind our people's mind, right? When you see some of the commercial success of black entrepreneurs and athletes and entertainers and moguls and whatnot, it blinds our people's eye, right? They can't see. Again, the systemic racism, the discrimination, and all of the different things that have been placed in this nation over us to keep the masses of our people in poverty, right? When you think about, multimillionaires and billionaires, Jay-Z and all the like, that's a very, very small percentage, even to the number of successful black men and women who may not be on the forefront, like who are the leaders of industry, capital investors and whatnot, and work at Fortune 500 companies, are CEOs and different things, vice presidents, black men and women, powerful black men and women in America. That's still a very small percentage out of the masses of our people who are either impoverished in the midst of the slums of the cities around America, or are incarcerated in prisons around America. The masses of our people are in those areas, not living in affluent neighborhoods in Atlanta and in affluent neighborhoods in Beverly Hills and elsewhere around the country. and have the luxuries of flying private jets here and there and vacationing in Milan. And no, that's a very, 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 very small percentage. And like Dr. Umar Johnson said, a lot of these will not indict the system because they're owned by the white power structure. They give them that to help to create that illusion of success, that the American dream is obtainable. Well, that quote unquote American dream comes with a cost. You bind yourself. As the scriptures talk about, matter of fact, let me grab it. Let me show you in the Bible where the Most High God talks about that. Where our people will bind themselves to their oppressors, bind themselves to evil contracts and evil covenants in order just for the possibility to make millions of dollars. So let's go ahead and grab that. The book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verse 14, and we'll read down. The book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verse 14. Wherefore hear the word of Yahweh, ye scornful men that rule this people which is in Jerusalem. So think about so-called black people and those that rule them, right? Or the black influencers. Jay-Z, Beyonce, LeBron James, Ye, P. Diddy, whomever, Tyler Perry, Oprah. Any of these people that rule over our people, that have influence over our people, that our people look to and aspire to be just like them, the scornful men and women. Verse 15, because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death. This is what our people have done. They have made a covenant with death. Blood contracts we hear about. We hear about the Illuminati. We hear about all of the different things that take place behind closed doors. In the forefront, we see smiles. We see glamour. We see fame. We see money. We see riches. We see big mansions and wonderful cars and all of the opulence that comes with being a multi-millionaire and billionaire, baller status among our people. We see that. We see the money beard. We see the money spread. We see all that different stuff. But the scripture said, because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell we are at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, meaning when the judgment of God comes to us, it shall not come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. So this is the mentality of our people. They have made lies their refuge. The lies of America, they have made it their fortification. They have strengthened themselves in it. But it is death and it is hell, and it will not profit them. Okay? So again, the title of this lesson is Don't Believe the Hype. This is still captivity. This is still captivity. When you think about captivity, you think about being oppressed and slavery, things of that nature. There are certain things that take place, or maybe I should say there are things that have to happen in order for a people to be considered free from their oppressors. Okay? Now, we understand for us as so-called black people here in America, we are considered, quote unquote, free due to the Emancipation Proclamation. But when you go back into the Bible, the book of the covenant, right? And you look at the tenets of freedom and the tenets of liberty, the tenets of justice, when a person who is bound is made free, there are three tenets. One of those three tenets have to be fulfilled in order for any people to be made free from their captors or their oppressors. I want you guys to understand this because this is the crux of my lesson. Don't believe the hype. This is still captivity. There are three tenets, right? That would stipulate whether a people are free or whether they're still bound. Okay? Those three tenets are: 1, reparations; 2, emancipation or autonomy; or 3, subduing their oppressors. I'm going to say it again. 1, reparations, right? So a people can be freed from another people, their captors, if they're given reparations, right? Giving money, wealth, the cost of their bond service, right? Whether that's paid to them, they can be made free by means of that. 2, emancipation, and I use the word autonomy. Autonomy is freedom, to have liberty and to be self-governing. That's an important thing, because the Emancipation Proclamation has, quote unquote, made us free, but it has not given so-called black people autonomy. We are not self-governing. We don't have a government unto ourselves. We are still governed by our oppressor. So we're emancipated. Hold on real quick. Honey, can you actually look that up? The word emancipated. Look that up in Google and tell me what that says.
Emancipation. The fact or process of being set free from legal, social, or political restrictions.
Okay. So we're said to have been made free from those things. The reality is we're not. But we definitely do not have autonomy. We are not self-governed, right? We do not have freedom unto ourselves. We do not have liberty unto ourselves. We don't have a land of our own. We don't have Negro land somewhere. I know they may have America might have purchased some land in Africa, Liberia, and made that a democratic region for us to dwell in, but the masses of our people don't dwell there. And it's not a free state. Okay? So there's reparations to be paid in full for your bond service. 2, emancipation or autonomy. And the 3rd, to subdue your oppressors. What does that talk about? If your Revelations 13 and 10, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. That's a divine principle of God. That's subduing your enemies. That's how a people is made free from their oppressor, by literally putting them in chains. Rising up against the one who has in bondage them and making them their slaves or putting them to death. Those are the 3 tenets to making a people free. Those are the tenets to making a people free. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and get into the scripture. If you don't mind, can you grab me Deuteronomy chapter 15, verses 12 through 15. So this is going to talk about reparations. So we're going to do the reparation part first. Again, the title is Don't Believe the Hype. This is still captivity. All right, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15, verses 12 through 15.
Okay. Deuteronomy, chapter 15, verses 12 through 15. And if thy brother, an Hebrew man, or an Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. And when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty.
Pay very close attention, because the title again is Don't Believe the Hype. This is still captivity. A lot of our people, if you ask them, is this the land of your captivity? Nah, man, this is America, man. I love America. I'm patriotic, man. This is my home. This is not a captivity to many of our people. They don't see it as such. This is home. This is home. But I'm going to show you in the Bible. There are 3 tenets you have to cover in order to be declared free. We're not free if we're not meeting these stipulations. Biblically, we're still in bondage. We're still oppressed. So when you hear the Israelites on the corner talking about these things, this is why they speak the way that they do. It's because according to the Bible, we're still captive. When you think about our existence in Egypt, our existence in Assyria and Babylon and in Persia, and under the Greeks and under the Romans, we had freedom. During the time of Christ, we were under Roman occupancy. They ruled over our land, and they set Roman rulers over our land to govern us. Now, we had some freedoms to go to and fro, to buy and sell, to go to work, to have families, and to entertain ourselves and to worship our God. But the oppressor reigned over us and made us pay taxes to them. This is documented in the Gospels. This is history, as well as the Greeks before them. So our people think, oh, captivity is you got to have a yoke around your neck. You got to have chains on you. That's captivity. No. Christ and the children of Judah during the time of Christ did not have chains on them, but they were still captive. That's why they asked Christ, at this time, will you restore the kingdom to us? The kingdom had been taken away and had been given unto the heathen. Okay, we have to understand these things. But verse 13, one more time, read that.
And when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty.
That's precisely what our people have experienced here in this nation, right? Even in 2023, the arguments of reparations are being brought up, and white folk lose their mind when you bring it up. They get upset. Or they slick and they want to try to, when they talk about reparations, put it in the form of home loans and college loans, and they don't want to give a nigga a check. They don't want to cut a check and give the masses of black people money like they've done for Asian Americans, like they've done for Jewish Americans, like they've done for German Americans, like they've done for all manner of other people and immigrants. They've given them money. The Ukrainians, they just gave billions of dollars in aid just a year ago. I believe they're still doing so. But when the argument of giving reparations, rightful reparations, to the children of the slave trade, no, let's move on to other business. Let's move on to other business. The scripture says, you shall not let him go away empty. Read on.
Verse 14. Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy flock.
So this is why, because when you're reading here, we're seeing what should happen with a slave when you let him go free. You had him in bondage. Now when you let him go free, you give him unto him, and you give him liberally out of thy flock. Meaning you make sure he's near almost equal to you when he's released from you. He has everything he needs to start a life for himself. Not struggling. I went into this a while back talking about Liberia and some of the things America tried to do after the Emancipation Proclamation, and how sending some of, I think, to the Caribbeans, or was it Liberia? I'm not really sure. I have to look back into it. But how there was a colony of freed blacks that were sent over to the Caribbeans or somewhere, and they were pretty much left for dead. They were given all these promises by the powerful white slave masters who, I guess, somewhat funded the voyage. But once they made it over to the mainland, they were left for dead. They didn't have much resources. They didn't have much tools, much of anything. They got sick. There wasn't much medicine. And many of them died and were asking to go back into slavery. The conditions on that island were so bad. Those who survived were saying, please, can I go back and be on the plantation? I'll give anything to be on the plantation. Get me out of here. Okay, we have to understand this. Don't believe the hype. This is still captivity. Read on. 14.
Verse 14.
Yep.
Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy flock, and out of thy floor, and out of thy winepress. Of that wherewith Yahweh thy king hath blessed thee, thou shalt give unto him. Verse 15.
Now hold it. That's another thing to keep in mind, because he's saying what the Most High God has blessed you with, and if you be spiritual and look between the lines, the Most High God has blessed the well-to-do individual with this. Now, how did this well-to-do individual get some of this bounty? It was facilitated by the service of the slave. If you be spiritual, and it didn't just magically appear. Now, the Most High God is wonderful. He can bless and magnify things. But when you even think about the story with Joseph when he was sold into slavery, the scripture says that Potiphar's house, Joseph's master that is, an Egyptian, his house was blessed because of Joseph. Everything Joseph put his hand to do became blessed, and Potiphar's house was magnified and blessed because of Joseph. So all the blessings of Potiphar were facilitated by the hand of his magnificent servant, his slave, Joseph. Think about that. So when God blesses you by way of the service of your slave, when it's time to let him go, you got to give him a good portion of that. Not give him meager scraps. Oh, you can have this right here. No, you got to give him a good portion because he helped to produce that. Think about our existence here in America. We helped build America. Make America great again? We made it great to begin with. Where's our share, America? Uncle Sam, Lady Liberty, where's our share of the American pie? Where's our share? Where's our piece? We starving in the corner, trying to get crumbs off the table, while the heathen and others are eating our share. Putting their nasty, filthy fingers in the apple pie, eating up our share. And when we get scolded when we try to come to the table and get a little piece. If you be spiritual. Read on.
Verse 15, and thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in the land of Egypt, and Yahweh thy king redeemed thee. Therefore I command thee this thing to do today. Okay,
so this is what we have to understand when it comes to understanding true captivity according to the Bible. These three tenets you have to meet in order to be considered truly free. Reparations, emancipation, autonomy, or subduing your oppressors. And we're going into reparations tonight. And these things you have to give unto your brother. Give unto he that is being released from your authority. You have to give him from your flock. Give him of your riches, of your blessing. This is what I command you, the Most High God says. Okay? From there, we're going to go to the book of Job, chapter 20, verses 5 through 7, verses 10, 15, 18, and 19. All right, I'll say it again here in a moment. The book of Job, chapter 20, and we're going to read verses 5 through 7, 10, 15, and then 18 and 19. Job chapter 20, verses 5 through 7, 10, 15, 18, and 19. You ready? Yep.
Job chapter 20, verses 5 through 7. That the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment.
We're going to use our spiritual imagination because we're talking about America. We're talking about our existence here, 2023, here in America, right? We're going to take out wicked, take out the hypocrite, and we're going to put in Edom. We're going to put in the so-called white man because the scripture says that he is the wicked anyway. All right, so that the triumphing of the white man is short and the joy of the white man but for a moment. But read on.
Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds.
Salakia, now, we understand why that is. We just read that you shall give unto him of the blessing that the Most High God has given thee. We understand a big part of that blessing that you get is from the servant. It ain't you out there toiling. It ain't you out there reaping the heart. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're reaping the benefits, but you're not actually out there working and sweating. It's him out there. He's the one taking care of the flock. He's the one doing all of that stuff. Slaving out there in the sun. He's the one. And he brings all the bounty to you. And you divide it up. And you do what seemeth right to you because you're the owner. You're the master. You're over the estate. And whatever little you give him, he has to accept it. But it's not you doing the work. And if he be made free from you, then you have no means. You would have to either find somebody else to do it or get out there and do it yourself. Mm-hmm. But your head is lifted up above the clouds. Think about the promise that was given unto Esau from his father Isaac, that you shall have the earth as the dew of heaven, but by way of violence. Read on.
Verse 7, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung.
Salaki, so again, we're exchanging the word wicked and hypocrite for the white man, for Edom. This is what's going to befall him because he has not done what the Most High God instructed in Deuteronomy chapter 15. to give unto him. He has been a hypocrite. He talk about peace and unto all men. He talks about being a place of refuge for all men. But you're a hypocrite. You're a liar. You're providing aid for people that really don't need it. But for those that you chiefly have oppressed, you don't give them a dime. All you want to do is give them government aid and stipends to keep them in a perpetual state of poverty. All it is putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. That's all you do. You don't really want to heal. You want to keep them in pain. Read on.
They which have seen him shall say, where is he? Verse 10. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. So
when you think about America and the social construct today, that is what you see from so-called white people today, right? They don't, many of them openly don't carry the same vitriol as their forefathers in the time of slavery, where they just openly despise and hate black people. No, but they do as according to verse 10. His children, meaning the descendants of those slave masters, shall seek to please the poor. We're the poor. They're the wealthy and powerful of this nation. We're not the ones running this nation. They are. And their children are the one that's left to inherit the bounty of this nation. And we're the poor that inherit the poverty of our fathers in this nation. But it says they seek to do good to please the poor, and his hand shall restore their goods. We think about the things that they do. Like I tell you sometimes, just driving through the suburbs with my job, you know, how they'll give you tips and stuff like that. Not to say that a black person never gave me tips, but it's more likely white people are going to give me tips. More likely, unfortunately, that white people will speak kindly unto me. You know what I'm saying? Or just the way that they try to speak about the entire situation. You know what I'm saying? We're seeing this being lived out. We're seeing scripture being lived out right before our very eyes. You know, when the conversation of race relations comes up, white people want to be all kind in the way they talk to you. Like, I get it, bro. I understand. Read verse 10 again.
His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. Okay. So this is the mentality. This is the mentality of their children. Read on. Verse 15. Excuse me. He hath swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. God shall cast them out of his belly.
Okay. So this is the judgment from God, because they have been a hypocrite. Deuteronomy 15 lets us know what the ruler is supposed to do. Turn that light off in there. The Most High God told us what we ought to do. So that when you cause the servant to leave you, you give him liberally from out of thy flock. But Edom has been a hypocrite and been wicked, and still slow, moving his feet to nourish the children of Israel from their time of oppression, because the reality is we're still in oppression.
Yeah.
Literally just the latter of last year or the beginning of this year, conversations about reparations were being had in California and all over this nation. We see it on social media, all this different stuff. But every time this conversation comes up, the white person always has something to say about it.
$350,000 or $840,000, and you write a check to any group of people, black, white, poor, homeless, whatever, you give any group of people that much money and say, there you go, best of luck, and you come back in 6 months, they're going to be broke. So whatever reparations are done, that would be an absolute disaster, as opposed to guidance and help in creating generational wealth as opposed to income.
Right.
That would be an absolute disaster.
No one ever says that that there's going to be mismanagement of funds when we're talking about the distribution of reparations payments to other communities.
I just said it. I just said you give that money to anybody, they're gonna mismanage it.
There's always some vile on their tongue. They don't even like bringing it up. It makes their skin crawl. That's hypocrisy to the utmost. They don't even want to talk about the justice of doing that. That lets you know the hypocrisy. Read that verse again. This is what they do. That's why they don't want to give up reparation, because they swallow down riches. They're not trying to vomit it up, but the Most High God gonna make them vomit it all up. You ever seen someone when they choking, they do the Heimlich maneuver? The Most High God is going to do the Heimlich and cause them to vomit it all up. Read verse 15.
He has swallowed down riches.
Edom has swallowed down all of the riches of all the nations. Not just Israel, but all the nations of the earth. Psalms talks about that he goes into other nations and takes what's not his, wringing them out dry. So it ain't just Israel. He didn't just take our glory and bounty. He's taking the glory and bounty of all the nations. And he swallowed down. He's fat. He's a fat cat. Looking like Garfield eating lasagna. He's a fat cat off of the wealth of the nations. Read on.
He has swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. Yahweh shall cast them out of his belly.
Read on.
Verse 18. That which he labored for shall he restore.
Wow. Now, we're reading here in Job, that which he labored for, he shall restore. But it said the wicked and the hypocrite. You think the wicked and hypocrite did an honest day's work? Huh? Of course not. Ain't no wicked man or hypocritical man doing any honest work. The labor is his wicked labor, his wicked inventions that the scripture talked about. His devious nature. Invigiling men, the scriptures talk about. These are the works that he has done. This is what he's labored in. His evil, you know what I'm saying? His evil deeds. But he's going to restore it back to those that rightfully deserve it. Read on.
That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein.
Whoa. This is prophecy. This is prophecy concerning a so-called white man and what we shall receive, even to a lesser degree what the other nations are going to receive from what they've gotten stolen. Think about India, who's been oppressed by Britain.
Between 1765 and 1938, the British Isles stole $45 trillion pounds from India. 45 trillion sterling from India. We never got paid for that. When the British left India, when we threw the British out, our literacy rate was 13%. So much for several hundred years of so-called civilization. Meanwhile, our landscapes were destroyed. And then you left, and now you dare to condescend to us. You love lecturing us because you have a colonial mentality. Then there are colonial structures and institutions. You lend us money, and every time you lend us money, which is our money, every time the International Monetary Fund comes to our societies and they tell us, here's the money we are giving you. No, it's our money. You give us our money back as debt, and then you lecture us about how we should live. You want to lecture us. You want to tell us that we are responsible for all the problems, because you'll never accept that you're the one principally to blame.
Taking all the jewels out of India, Africa, many of our brethren over there, and how that whole continent has been raped and being raped to this very day. So, but this is prophecy though. This is what's going to happen. Verse 18, it says, according to his substance shall the restitution be. What does that mean? The writer is saying, you're not going to give the oppressed and the poor and the one you afflicted. You ain't going to have the luxury to give them a couple dollars. He said, but according to your substance shall the restitution be. So the mighty judge is going to do a tally on all your wealth, right? Let me see what your net worth is. I'm going to tally it all up. I'm going to look at all your assets. I'm going to see everything you got. I'm going to look into your treasure trove, your chambers of secrets. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I'm going to look into all your chambers and see what you got. The gold, the silver, the precious jewels. all of the wealth that you have, I'm going to tally it up, and then I'm going to give it to my people. According to your substance, that's going to be the restitution. You're not going to be able to give falsified tax information like Donald Trump and say, no, this is all I made right here. I only made this. But you hide all the rest in some secret bank account. The Most High God said he's going to call for hunters to come hunt you down. He's going to figure out all of what you got. And all of it shall be given unto the children of Israel. So according to his substance, that's what the restitution going to be. Okay? Read on.
Verse 19. Because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor. Did I finish 18?
Yeah, you finished 18.
Okay. Because he hath oppressed and forsaken the poor, because he hath violently taken away an house which he builded not.
This is the retribution that the Most High God is talking about. Because you didn't do it, because you have the time right now. That's the thing that Edom does not want to accept. Right now is your time of mercy, if you will. Now, you're not going to get the sort of mercy Israel is getting. You have a great judgment that's already written and prepared for you. But if you wanted to make your destruction a little less, this would be the time. This would be the time, but it's not in your spirit to do it. This would be the time, but when the Most High God do it, you're not going to be able to hold anything back. He's going to grab it all. Okay? From there, I would like you to grab, brother, Matthew chapter 17, verses 24 through 26.
Can I give a precept?
What you got? Because I might have it on here. What you got?
Jeremiah chapter 30. Do you have that?
Go ahead.
Do you have that?
No, I don't. Go ahead.
Okay. Jeremiah chapter 30. And this is just based on what you're talking about with them not wanting to give us reparations. They don't want to give us nothing, in Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 12 and 13. For thus saith Yahweh, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. And even in verse 15, at the very end of it, it says, because thy sins were increased, I have done these things unto thee. So the white man, they doing all that they're doing, even though we're going through it. We're going through because the Most High is making us go through all of this stuff. Yes, at their hands. He put us in their hands. But the Most High is making us go through this punishment, but we're coming out blessed when we do come out. So,
okay, go ahead and read what you got.
You said Matthew what?
Matthew chapter 17, verses 24 through 26.
The book of Matthew chapter 17, verse 24. And when they were come to Capernaum, right? That's how you say it, Capernaum.
Mm-hmm.
They that received tribute money came to Peter and said, doth not your master pay tribute?
Salakia, so they're asking Peter, does not your master pay his taxes? Because I started off the lesson by saying, during the time of Christ, the gospel lets you know that the nation of Israel, the children of Judah, were under Roman occupancy. They were held captive by the Romans. But they had freedoms to buy and sell, to live, go to work, and do most of the things that we do today. That's why our people's minds are warped. If you're not meeting these three tenets biblically, then you're still captive to your oppressors. Just like in the time of Christ. They were able to go to and fro. Christ didn't have no chains on. The children of Judah didn't have chains on. They were still able to worship their God and all of that. But there were Italian Roman rulers over them. And they had to pay taxes. And there were certain things they just could not do in their own land. They were not necessarily autonomous. Because the Roman Empire shadowed everything. They gave them a little freedom. But you still had to be subject unto Caesar. When Christ was being crucified, what did the wicked scribes and Pharisees call out when they say, "Isn't this your king?" What did they say? "We have no king but who?
Caesar.
Caesar." Think about that. If you be spiritual, ain't this black man y'all king? We don't got no king but the white man. Caesar, the president. That's my king. That's my ruler. Okay? But getting back, the verse said, yo, bruh, don't your master, don't he pay his taxes? They're asking him, doesn't the king, the son of God, don't he got to pay taxes to the oppressor too? Where his taxes at? Think about that. Christ was just as subject on earth to the stipulations of captivity, just like all the rest of his brethren. You got to pay taxes too. Read.
Verse 25. He said, yes.
Salakia, Peter said, yes, my master, the Christ, he paid taxes too. So in order to pay taxes, you got to have what? You got to have income. You got to have money. All right? So Christ had a little bit of money. At least enough to pay his taxes. Because if you didn't pay taxes, who was coming around? The publicans, the tax collectors. And if you didn't pay your taxes, what would happen to you? Either you get beat or you get put in jail. Or both. Think about that if you be spiritual. Christ had to have had some sort of income so he can pay his taxes, or he would have been in jail. He would have had no power to go out and preach and evangelize. He'd be in jail. He'd be just another nigga in jail, wouldn't he? Who didn't pay his taxes, didn't pay his child support, right? Think about that if you be spiritual. He said, don't he pay his taxes? Don't he pay his child support? Quote unquote. Yeah, he do. He hold it down. Read on.
And when he was come into the house, Yahushua prevented him, saying, what thinkest thou, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute?
Think about what Christ is saying. So we know Peter answered him and said, yeah, my master, he paid his taxes. But when they were by themselves, Christ took Peter aside and asked, he said, let me ask you something. Before they went in, he asked him a question. He said, of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Meaning the kings of the earth, the heathen that are reigning, like the Romans right now, Caesar, who do they tax? Who do they tax, Peter? Go on and read.
Of their own children, of strangers.
So Christ is asking Peter, the heathen that reigns, when they have power in the earth, and they have dominion, and they have an empire that spans the globe, not the globe, the earth, right? That spans the earth, who do they make pay taxes? Is it their own kindred? Is there their own children? Or the strangers? And Peter's like, read on.
Peter said unto him, of strangers. Yahushua said unto him, then are the children free?
No, that's not a question. That's a statement. Then are the children free. So Christ asked Peter a simple question. He said, yo, Caesar, who does he tax? Does he tax other Romans? Does he tax those of his kindred, of his nation? Or does he tax other people? Other people, strangers. Okay, then the children are free. They don't got to pay. That's not to say that he didn't have to pay. What he's illustrating is when I reign in power, then the children are free. Mm-hmm. Think about that, because we're talking about the title. Don't believe the hype. This is still captivity. One of the tenets in order to designate a people as being free from their captors is reparations. So if we're paying taxes to our oppressor, we're not free. The children aren't free. The children of Israel are not free according to the principle of Christ. We're strangers to this nation. We're strangers to our oppressor, and we're not free. But when Christ is reigning, we are of his brethren. We are of his kindred. So taxes won't be levied on us, but it will be levied on the stranger. It will be levied on the other nations. And so at that time, the children will be free. The children of God will be free. Okay? From there, brother, I'll have you go to Exodus chapter 12, verses 35 and 36. Reparations. Reparations. They don't like when that conversation come up. I heard Vlad say something to the effect of, "Oh, I believe black people should get reparation." I think, he had Godfrey on there. I like Godfrey because he let it fly. He don't care, but he was saying, yeah, I think black people should get reparation. Should get reparation, and whether it be Godfrey or somebody else who was in the interview, like, "Oh, for real? You think so?" Yeah. And at the end of it, he was saying, "Yeah, they should get it in college loans."
I fully support reparations for African Americans.
Yes. Good sentence.
Yes.
Good sentence.
Which everyone had no problems with.
No, here's the second part.
But I added one more sentence.
Here you go.
I said possibly in the form of a free college education. Here we are.
Yeah.
And before you say what you say, I'm going to tell you the reasoning behind what I said.
Okay.
Okay? This is why it's gone nowhere.
Of course.
When 80-something% of the country is not for something, it's not even going to make it to Congress. There's not even going to be a vote. Today, Georgetown University actually is now attempting to locate the descendants of those particular slaves,
right,
and offering them free tuition.
That's great.
Would I love every black person in this country to get $1 million check and 100 acres of land? Absolutely. Are they owed that amount? 100%, if not more.
Right.
Is that ever going to happen? When you're talking about tens of millions of people? No.
Tens of millions of people, mainly whites.
No, what I'm saying is
tens of millions of people, but black people.
Black people,
okay,
who would get that.
Yeah.
It would bankrupt the whole country.
It would bankrupt the whole country. But for the people that built the country to make you the fucking money.
Yeah.
You understand? You know, all of a sudden now you worried about being bankrupt when you spend trillions of dollars on defense, trillions of dollars on unnecessary bullshit, trillions of dollars to send black men, especially to jail, trillions of dollars to drug the fuck up our whole country, trillions of dollars to fuck the food up, to fuck the air up, to fuck the water up, trillions of dollars to make people sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker in this country, but you mad? We don't have the money because, and this is what I think, and this is what I believe, you just don't like black people. Plain and motherfucking simple, you do not like black people. It is very obvious. For hundreds of years, we've been the most hated. The most hated, but within that hatred comes the hypocrisy of loving our culture. You've made trillions off of our motherfucking culture. You know that. You've made money off our culture. Let's be real.
I should have known. The devil gonna be the devil. Okay? When these immigrants come over here, do they just get college loans? No. They get money. They get checks.
They get stipends.
They get stipends. They get houses. They get all type of grants and everything. Money.
People can't get their rent paid to save their life. Black folks in Chicago, you should be at City Hall about this one. You should be at City Hall and demanding your check. Everybody can get a reparations and everything else, but a black person.
They get money. Checks given to them. Food, everything.
Thousands of dollars.
Given to them without any questions asked. Can barely speak a lick of English. But got all this money. But when and only been here for a hot minute. Because their country is war torn. We've been here for centuries and can't get nothing. The hypocrite shall vomit up what he has swallowed, Job says. Go ahead and read what you got.
The book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 35. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment.
Salakia. So when you go into the word there for borrowed, right? Let me see if I can pull it up. Bear with me. Go into Exodus chapter 12, verse 35 and see if I could look up what that Hebrew word is for borrowed. I believe I went over this a couple years back.
Yeah, I say borrowed.
Yeah, because when you think about that, like just reasoning within yourself, when you look at that, if they're leaving, why would it be borrowing? Because they're not gonna get it back, right? So they took it. That's mine. So let's go there and look it up here. Exodus chapter 12, verse 35. We're going to look at the word borrowed here in the Hebrew. Okay? And they borrowed, which is the Hebrew word H7592, Sa'al, I guess, Sa'al. Outline of biblical usage: to ask, inquire, borrow, beg. Let's see. To ask, B, to ask for someone, ask leave of absence. Let's see here. To be given on request. To grant, make over to, let ask successfully, or give or lend on request, grant or make over to. Let's see other words here. You have ask, inquire, desire, require, demand. You see the word in there, demand. Okay, so read that scripture one more time.
Verse 35. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed the
Salakia, or demanded, requested. This is what I need right here. Because the backdrop is the children of Egypt were being plagued by the Most High God. And Pharaoh was hard-hearted and didn't want to let the people go. But the Egyptians were at their wits' end, and they were trying to push them out of the land. Get out. We'll give you anything. You want the kitchen sink too? Take it. Just get out, please. So if the children of Israel were asking for anything, you think they were of the mentality of, nah, I'm going to hold this back. No, take it, please. Just get out. Just please, just leave. We've all have had that, dealing with somebody. I'm at my wits' end. Please, I'll give you anything. Just please make it go away. Make him go away, or you just make the problem go away. I'll give you anything. I'll pay double of what it costs just to make it go away. Okay? They requested, they demanded. All right, read on.
And they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment.
That sounds like drip, don't it? Wow. Jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, clothing. So they had jewels and clothes, right? The drip. They left with the drip. Read on.
And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they... Why T goes into another word that could be used for borrowed, lent.
Yeah. And when you go into that, real quick, I'll go back. Verse 36 there. For lent, it's the same word. It's the same word. So it could very well be request or demand. Read on.
So that they lent unto them such things as they required. And they spoiled the Egyptians.
They spoiled the Egyptians. Now, remember what Job says? For the hypocrite and the wicked who didn't want to give unto the poor, he says that the Most High God was going to take of your substance, and that shall be the restitution. This is what happened with the Egyptians. We were captives in their land and helped build up the glory of Egypt, the Egyptian empire. And when the Most High brought them down low, what was left, they gave substance. They gave restitution of their substance. That's why they were considered spoiled. They had very little left after what they were demanded to give to us. If you be spiritual. So when you think about what took place with our ancestors thousands of years ago, and you correlate it to today, is that the same principle? No. In theory, all we were given was a piece of paper, a verbal agreement. That's not weighty. That's not weighty. That's hypocrisy according to the Bible. Okay? From there, we're going to go to the book of Yashar, chapter 80, verse 59. The book of Yashar, chapter 80 and verse 59. Let's bring out a few examples to show why it is we're still considered oppressed and captive.
You said verse 59?
Yes, Salakia. We are still considered captives to God. When you see the prophecy written, many of our people don't understand it, first because they're not being taught properly, but because their eyes, they don't see it. They think we're free. You really think you're equal to the white man? You really think you're equal? Really? Really, really? You're not. Why do you think the language in here talks about freeing them? I shall turn again the captivity. That means when God comes to visit us and to redeem us, we're going to be captive at that point. He didn't say free, because if that be the point, then why would he need to come? If you be spiritual, when God says countless times throughout Isaiah and Jeremiah and Ezekiel and all the prophets and in the New Testament, when he come back, that we will be captive at that point. So if we're talking about Christ is soon to return, even the Christian church, then that means the children of Israel have to be captive. Yeah, we can end the conversation right there. By virtue of the prophecy, we have to be in captivity and be oppressed at the return of the Messiah. Because if not, then how could he fulfill anything? The fulfillment of prophecy is that we be free from our enemies and from our captors, to put them in bondage. Well, if Christ came back and saw us chilling and we free and we good, they'd be like, oh, I guess I go back to the Most High until... No, we are in captivity unto this very day, regardless of what propaganda is being pushed, regardless of what the society teaches us, regardless of whatever policies are being pushed. We understand that for the discerned, the masses of our people are going through each and every day. Don't nobody want to go and live in the inner cities of Memphis, the inner cities of Chicago, Chirac, the inner cities of Los Angeles, in the boroughs of New York, in Dallas and in Houston, where brothers are getting shot and killed every single day. The white men don't want to go live in those areas, but our people have no choice but to live in those areas, because that's where the subsidized housing is. That's where the schools are for our children to attend that teach us nothing. Right? That's where the polluted grocery stores and whatnot. That's where our world is, right there in the hood. We're not welcome out in the suburbs. They intentionally put those really nice, the Publix. They don't put Publix in the hood. They don't put Wegmans in the hood. They don't put these luxurious establishments in the hood. They purposely put them out in the outstretches of the suburb. You got to go way out to Parrington. You got to go way out to these other places. So if any black people are going to visit, you got to go get in your car and go drive way out to Macedon. Drive way out to Honeoye Falls, to Canandaigua, in order to experience the niceties that are out there. But we get a rundown Walmart, a rundown Save-A-Lot and Price Right, where thievery takes place constantly. You think thievery is taking place constantly out there in those establishments? No.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be by the man. We understand that. But will it be the same as when we walking by and people running out the store with big screen TVs, literally pushing them out the store? Stop him! I'm not about to stop this dude. No. I don't know if he got a gat. Yeah, it's over. Where's the asset protection doing their job? You know what I'm saying? He got a big old TV. He just ran out with a big old TV. You would think there'd be some sort of big TV policy. Anybody grabbing the TV, just keep an eye on them. You know what I'm saying? Until they pay for it, got a receipt, just keep a little eye on them. Or something. It's something. You know what I mean? But if they stealing like that, you got to do something if you're trying to, protect whatever. But that's not happening out there in the suburbs. That's why they purposely build those nice establishments out there. The restaurants and eateries. Think about the diversity of eateries and restaurants out there. They don't got all that in the city. You know what I'm saying? They don't got that in the city. You go out there, you drive around sometimes, and you see some of these cafes like, yo, that's nice. They don't got none of that over here. Or they got it tucked in the nice areas like East Ave, Park Ave. You know what I'm saying? Nice little eatery. And it's places where we generally don't congregate. And you just happen to the bus pass through it, or you drive past it like, yo, they got this over here. Like just noticed just today, because I don't live over there, nor do I work over there, but I happen to drive down Monroe because I had to get to one of my stops. And they did all of this renovation. Got a whole nother little plaza.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Right up towards Pittsford, the white community.
Especially the Jewish.
The Jewish white community over there. The affluent community in Pittsford. Have a whole nother little plaza and all the little eateries and build. Like, yo, when they did all that, they got the Whole Foods. You know what I'm saying? This is done purposely. There ain't no Whole Foods in the hood. They're not putting the Whole Foods in Hudson. Not putting the Whole Foods on Jefferson. Not putting the Whole Foods on Portland. They're not doing that. Okay? Read on.
The book of Yashar, chapter 80, verse 59. And all the Egyptians sent Israel forth with great riches, sheep and oxen and precious things, according to the oath of Yahweh between him and of our father Abraham.
So this just goes into a little bit more detail, and that this was prophesied according to what we also read in the book of Genesis, that they shall come out with riches. I believe it's Genesis chapter 15. Let me see if I can find it real quick. The book of Genesis chapter 15. Bear with me. Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them for 400 years. 14. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. Great substance. You seen the principles here? When our forefathers came out of their captivity, in the true biblical sense, they got great substance. We were supposed to be freed back in 1865, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't that the Emancipation Proclamation? Or was that 63? Either one. It don't even matter. Did we come out with great substance? Brother Lee, where is our 40 acres and a mule?
The Boule.
The Boule? Did you get
join them first?
You got to join them first to get that.
You got to sign a contract, blood oath contract with the white man first before you get your 40 acres.
And that's precisely what we read before in Isaiah chapter 28. You make a covenant with death. Yes, you make a covenant with hell. With hell, you are in agreement, so that when the overflowing scourge, when all the evils happen, I'm good, nigga. I'm good. I don't know about you, but I'm good. I'm Gucci. No. I'm coming for you first. Them riches ain't gonna save you. Ask Ye. Them riches can't save you.
Right. He was worth what, like over $1 billion. And as soon as he started talking about we the 12 tribes of Israel,
they started taking that money.
They took 400 million away from, or something like that, where he was only worth 400 million after that. He was worth billions. He was only worth 400 million, which is still a lot of money. But it's like, you see what happens when you talk against, the powers that be.
Yeah.
Take your stuff away from you.
And there's something Mulan was just saying, that none of these people, Tyler Perry, Oprah, none of them will indict the system, right? Because they know they make their money through the system. And if they speak against it, they see truly how powerful the white man is. They know how the game is rigged. They know how it is. We out here fantasizing, wanting and aspiring to be like them. They know foolishly, exactly. Not wanting the things that God promised for us, but wanting what the white man can promise us and give us. Yeah. But it always comes with something. Yeah. Why? Because whatever he's going to give you, it's got to be an investment. He's not just giving it to you. Yeah. You think he's just giving Ye and giving all these wealthy blacks, just giving them that? No, it's an investment. But if you be spiritual. And this is another thing I think about. Like, there have been wealthy black people, but in the last 5 to 10 years, there's been an influx of black billionaires, not multimillionaires, but billionaires. And it's like, just in all honesty, with all due respect to the likes of Jay-Z and Ye and even P. Diddy to an extent. I don't know if he met billionaire status, but just like, what do y'all do to be a billionaire? Y'all rap? Y'all sit up and make songs about death and destruction, and you made $1 billion off of that?
Or they'll have some who are a part of the Boule, I guess you could call it, because that's where the black man is anyways. He's not in those other groups like the Skull and Bones or where the white elites are. They have their own separate thing because they don't want them to be a part
They
of
got the ghetto.
Yeah, you know, that's where the black man is, the boule. So you have some of them artists like Miguel who will tell you just to be cool, be kind, don't be dumb, you know what I'm saying? Don't be blind, have wisdom while you dealing with these people. You know what I mean? So it's like basically he's telling us, don't talk about the things that you see going on. You know what I mean? It's like, be quiet if you want to get somewhere. You know, it's like, but that's not going to get us anywhere. That's only going to keep us, you know, in the same situations that we are in now. You know?
They signed a blood contract.
Make that covenant with death.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say almost is like that, again, with all due respect, these brothers have amassed wealth and they've become billionaires, but it's like billionaire and that wealth has come cheap because it's like you are a rapper. With all due respect, but you're a rapper.
Not doing nothing.
You're not doing. I know you got investment. I know because I know you ain't selling records enough to be a billionaire. So I know you got your hand in other things, but it's like you're mainly a rapper and you're a billionaire. Billionaires must come cheap. With all due respect, it must come cheap. When I was a young man, the billionaire was the intelligent mastermind of business, and you know what I'm saying. But you're a rapper and you amass that. It must come cheap. But then another principle too is if Esau is able to throw you, because essentially these billionaires, this billionaire status is crumbs to him, then what do you think he has? If he can just give you a bigger crumb of crumbs, then what do you think his big slice of pie look like? Or his big pie itself? He got the pie with the crust and the pan and all that. You know the nice little pie utensil, you know, you cut it up and then you serve it with the little pie shaped utensil. He got all of that on the table while you sitting there with your nose on top of the table smelling, seeing if you can get a crumb. He throw you a big clunk of the crust and throw that at you. Ooh, yay!
Or as a matter of fact, the elites is sitting at the table where there's a pie sitting on it. They're on the table, and everyone has their slice, like the Bilderbergs, the Rothschilds. They all have a slice. And they're feeding us, or the ones who sign these oath contracts or whatever. They're feeding them little pieces from the crust, like throwing off little pieces and throwing them at them like they're mice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they have their slice. To them, you know, to us, that slice is everything. You know, but to them, it's like, I'd rather have the whole pie. It's a whole pie sitting on the table. That's like Monopoly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or have you ever seen the image where black men are bent over and the wealthy elite are playing a game of Monopoly on their backs?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Kind of the same thing. Yeah. But if you go even a little bit deeper, this might be a little graphic for some, but if you think about it, because of what we're reading here and how the hypocrite and the wicked, how they oppress the poor, right? And they swallow down riches and don't want to vomit it up, but the Most High God gonna make them vomit. It's like that strawberry pie, that's not strawberry. That's blood. Mm-hmm. That's the blood of the oppressed. Mm-hmm. That a pie was made out of it. We want it. They're stuffing their face with blood pie, nigga pie, if you be spiritual, but we want it so bad. It's like, this is what we built this. You profit mightily off of it, and we want some of that. We want some of the benefits of oppression. They bound themselves to, I want some of the blood to drip from my lip too, of my own people. And that's why you see our people act. They won't indict the system. Nigga get a little bit of money, he ain't talking the way he did with NWA or Public Enemy. You gotta fight the power. Ain't none of that talk no more. Shoot the police. It ain't none of that no more. Now brothers is getting more politically correct. You know what I'm saying? You know, you just got, like you say, you saying you just gotta, take it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? It just, you know everything ain't right, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Be cool.
Gotta be cool. You know what I'm saying? Do what you gotta do, bro.
Be dumb. Be wise in this thing.
This the main thing they'll say, bro. You gotta get that money. Get that money at the cost of your nation. I get all that. You know, I'm with that.
You ever read the 48 Laws of Power?
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta read that, brother. You know, like, I see, man. You know, I see what you guys talking about, man. I'm talking some good stuff, man. But you know, You gotta get that money though. Like, that's the mentality. You gotta get that money. Money above all. You know what I'm saying? They say bros over hoes, right? But it's like the dollars over bros too. It's like this dollar, this money, this wealth, I'll put over my nation. I'll kill my nation. Matter of fact, let's grab that. Let's grab the example.
It's so funny because it's like people who are rich be like, man, I don't care. They be like, I don't care about the white man. I don't worship him. But it's all about the money. But it's like, whose faces is on top? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And who do you answer to anyway? You get your money. So who are you really worshiping? You say you care about the dollar. That's what you. That's your God. But yet, who has the money? Your God that you worship, the white man, whose faces is on that dollar that you got. But they don't think of it like that. They don't, you know. I guess the Most High just blinds them, you know, to not see what they're doing.
Brother, grab me First Maccabees. First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 11. Chapter 1 and verse 11, and I want you to read another passage in another chapter. But I want you to start with First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 11.
The book of Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
Salakia, pay close attention, because we're talking about the boule, you know, the powerful black who just want a crumb. That's essentially what they're getting. Because the white power structure got the big pie. The big pie with the crust and the pan and the little utensil and all, and the glass of lemonade. You know what I'm saying? They got all that. We want a crumb. And when they get that nice big crumb with a little bit of blood juice on it, they so happy. While we starving, they so happy they not going to give us nothing off that crumb. Right? And you hear their whole mentality change. They come up through the slums. They talking reckless to the establishment. But once they start, like, just think about, like, I know, you know, Ice Cube, he believe we Israel. Well, I guess that can go. He believes we're Israel. But it's a stark difference between the Ice Cube of the early 90s, late 80s, and the Ice Cube of today. And it ain't just the beard, neither.
Protecting his money.
Yeah, gotta protect that money.
You know, he is kind of going against the grain a little bit.
Just like Kanye. It's just a little bit, but
I agree with you,
but it's still, you still rocking with
it.
it
For his business.
Yeah.
You know, because they're not giving him what he wants. So
yeah, he'll poke the bear with a long stick, but he's not willing to get in there with the bear.
Because
why?
When Kanye was talking that talk and was talking about Ice Cube was like, "Hey, don't mention me and none of that."
Yeah,
you know. But now that he's going through some problems, he wants to start talking about things. So yeah, I agree with you on that. It's like a spoiled child not getting what they want.
Yeah. So as long as you sitting pretty and you getting them crumbs, them consistent crumbs, you gonna shut up. They patting you on the head and give you a bone, you gonna shut up and you gonna defend your bone to the hilt. Anybody showing your teeth. I ain't even want your bone. Don't come near my bone. It's my bone. Master gave it to me. You know what I'm saying? But when Master don't give you the bone, you know, now you starting to feel more like a field nigga now. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got the house privileges no more. Now you kind of understand what the field niggas is talking about. You know? But there's a stark difference between the Ice Cube back then, talking about shooting and killing the police, and when you even listening to their raps, you know what I'm saying? Eazy-E and Dr. Dre and Ice Cube and all them brothers at NWA. And a lot of them during that time, that gangster rap, that early stuff, they were talking about the oppression. Rakim, Eric B. and Rakim and all of them. You know what I'm saying? Melly Mel and, you know what I'm saying, the Furious Fire, all of them talking about this stuff. The poverty, what's taking place in our neighborhoods, the injustice. This is what they rapped about. What do they rap about today? The wealthiest of the rappers, Lil Baby and Da Baby and Travis Scott and Drake, is they rapping about the poverty? Is they rapping about the injustice? Nah, he rapping about foolishness, protecting and all this other foolishness, stuff that don't mean anything.
Teenage fever.
Huh?
That's what he rapping about. Teenage fever. Pretty much is just the things that the youth are doing. That's what they rap about. Just stay relevant. That's what they rap about.
Is that tea time?
What's that? What you mean?
I think that's his newest song. Drake did it. Tea time, I'm on tea time or something like that. So okay, I don't know the lingo. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, yeah, and I see that. You want to be young. Bro, do you not see this? Oh yeah, but you have distanced yourself, just like all the rest of them. You've distanced yourself, Drake, Future, all the rest of y'all. You've distanced yourself from the masses of your people. So you can stand up, and I'm a nigga, I be getting money and and I be You don't care. You don't care. As long as they show up and pay $400 to come to your concert and make you wealthy, that's all you care about. You're not visiting the hood. You're not showing up. You're not coming to a function in the middle of the hood. You don't care. Okay? But go ahead and read what you got, bro. First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 11.
Oh, I thought I did read it.
No, because I stopped you. Because I want us to think about, because what we're about to read is the same people that don't indict the system, but they go right along with it. They encourage you to follow in the evil that is set before us. Read on.
I'll start over. Verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and cut a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. Did
you hear what the scripture just said? There were wicked men. The Most High God didn't call them persuasive. The Most High God didn't call them influencers. The Most High God didn't call them productive. The Most High God called them wicked. Yo, bruh, let's go out and make a contract with the wicked, the heathen round about. Who that sound like? That sound like our people. When they get into the music industry, the entertainment industry, pushing, looking for young men and young women.
Even in the political.
Yeah.
Political realm.
Like just yesterday, had on, I think WDKX or whatever, and listening. I'll be honest with you. When female rappers come on, I turn it. I don't want to hear Megan Thee Stallion. I don't want to hear Cardi B. The only one I'll tolerate to some degree is Nicki Minaj. What? To some degree, I'll tolerate her rapping. Lotto, I don't want to hear her. Doja Cat, she kind of alright, but I don't want to hear what? Just a few of the songs I hear on there. But what I'm saying, just catch the fullness of what I'm trying to say. A lot of time when they get on there, I heard Sexy Red, Glorilla. They sound illiterate. Their whole rap flow, their wordplay, their cadence, their tone, their spirit is like, yeah, I'm about to gonna da 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 da. Like they sound slack and talking about just popping and busting it and slipping and sliming me out. I know that's a name for another song, but just it's like this is what we've become. But it says there were wicked men that went out and persuaded, let's do that. Let's do it. Because what they're doing is creating a culture. Now, the culture existed before they came into prominence, but what they're doing is fortifying it. This evil, promiscuous whole culture among our women and destructive culture among our men. Because the men ain't doing nothing, no better. I think the song is Peaches and Eggplants.
I never heard of none of that.
Peaches and eggplants. They usually use them emojis to signify sexual organs. The eggplant is long, oblong, and the peach, okay. Yeah, so, and then he's rapping about sex. Literally, I'm banging her out, doing this, I gotta, da-da-da-da-da. It's like, this is what we are, this is what we've become. You know what I'm saying? But read that from the top.
Verse 11.
You almost finished.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and cut a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had such sorrow, much sorrow,
We've had much sorrow. Yo, we got to get back with the white man. Yo, I'm all for supporting black businesses. I'm all for it and everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm all for it, you know what I'm saying? But I need that money. I'm trying to get paid, nigga. I can't, you know what I'm saying? Every excuse in the book. You've made a covenant with hell, made a covenant with the grave. All right, from there I want you to grab 1 Maccabees chapter 6, and I want to say verse 58. 1 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse... start with 57 to 59. That's what we're going to do. 1 Maccabees chapter 6, verses 57 through 59.
1 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 57. Wherefore he went in all haste and said to the king...
Salaki, read it from the top, please.
Verse 57. Wherefore he went in all haste and said to the king and the captains of the hosts and the company, we decay daily, and our victuals, our victuals are but small, and the place we lay siege unto is strong, and the affairs of the kingdom lie upon us. Now therefore let us be friends with these men, and make peace with them, and with all their nation, and the covenant with them,
and covenant.
Salakia, and covenant with them that they shall live after their law, as they did before. For they are therefore displeased, and have done all these things because we abolished their law.
Okay. So you're seeing that they wanted to make a covenant with the heathen yet again. Right? But what helps bring these things about? When we're impoverished, when we're oppressed, when we're made to be the poor and the needy. And we begin in our mind, because like you mentioned, you know, you brought out Jeremiah, the Most High God, this is the Most High God's doing. He has cursed the fruit of our doings. So now when these things happen, we forsake our God even the more, and we're left, and we think that the only salvation is in our oppressor. How is it that the one that enslaved you is now going to save you?
Instead of repenting and turning.
But that's how we live our lives. We don't look to the God of heaven and earth, our heavenly Father, to be our Savior and to be our Redeemer. We look to the so-called white man, the oppressor, the one that has placed us in chains and has made our lives for both us and our fathers miserable. We look to him to be our Savior, for him to be our Redeemer, for him to be our help, for him to be our aid, for him to be our succor, for him to be the one that lift us up out of the mire and clay and set our foot on a stable rock. He's going to be the one to save us, our Superman. We are out of our minds. Okay? From there, honey, I'll have you grab Acts chapter 3, verse 21. You get Isaiah chapter 60. We'll go to Acts chapter 3, verse 21. This is in the New Testament. This will illustrate another principle because we're talking about reparations tonight. Again, the title is Don't Believe the Hype. This is still captivity. We're talking about reparations. A people is made free when they are, at the very least, reparated from their service. We have it. And don't get it twisted. I don't care how many conversations come up. It ain't going to change. I've heard Umar Johnson talking about it and say, "Oh no, you gotta, you black people, y'all tripping. You know this. You shouldn't ask for money first." It's like y'all all simple, but y'all don't know the prophecy of God. You don't know the power of God. This white man is not gonna give you a dime.
It's not in him too.
It's not in him. It's not prophesied for him to do so. He's not going to. All he's going to do is perhaps entertain the conversation until you die and another generation come up who knoweth not. Because you see, the more and more we're being separated from the truth of our history, even here in America. You got kids coming up who don't even know we were slaves here. Mm-hmm. You think what Robert DeSantis is doing in Florida, you think that's of naught? The black children of Florida, if his way is successful, they'll grow up not knowing they were ever slaves. Mm-hmm. The 1619 Project, oh yeah, that's what they want. They know you ain't gonna forget. They know you ain't gonna forget. They know I'm not gonna forget. But what they're hopeful is we become slack in being the people we need to be in teaching our children and leaving it all up to the white teachers to do so.
And that's what we do.
And that's what we do. So you expect a white teacher to speak of the atrocities of her fathers unto that black child's fathers? You really expect that to happen? You really expect to open up a textbook of American history and see slaves all throughout that? No, it'll be a little footnote. When the reality is all this history, the Civil War, the American Revolution well before that, and all the wars and all the conflicts of America had to do with slavery. Every single one. Every single one. Yes.
I just want to say this real quick because it reminds me of the people that were in New York City that the rich white man came up, I guess the early One West people, a rich white man came up and saw them talking about this awakening and us being Israel in the 12 tribes chart, and he said, we spent trillions of dollars to keep y'all from learning this.
Mm-hmm.
They're going at it a different way now. Take away slavery from their minds for the future generations. You know, we're going to kill them off through COVID and whatever else, cancer, whatever else we can put into food and whatever we can do. Once we get this new generation, they won't even know slavery. They'll forget all about, you know, who they are again once we get rid of these old other ones. And we got now a reset.
Yeah. Empower the wicked men, like we read in the first chapter. Those are the ones that are going to get the crumbs. They're the ones that are an asset for the time being to the oppressor for the time being. Then you'll dry up and I have no need of you and I'll put you away and you'll have nothing to show for your evil. But for the time being, I'll throw you a bone. I'll throw you a couple bones if you keep doing what you're doing. Because this old generation, they putting up a fight, but eventually they'll die off. I need you to intervene. I need you to intervene and be the what is it? I need you to be pretty much the go-between. That older generation, the newer generation. That bridge.
Not to mention the interracial.
To be honest, not to be the bridge. I need you to be the destroyer of the bridge.
Yeah.
Because I don't want the information from the older generation to get to them. I need you to tear down that bridge.
So breach it.
Yeah, I need you to be the breach in between them two. So that this new generation come up under the ways we would have them to come up, to adopt the laws and religions of this nation.
Yeah, and the interracial relationships, you're seeing more and more black men with white women and all the children. They're so proud of their little children. And the black women with these white men that don't even like their own people no more. No, don't help that nigga.
I keep trying to tell people that Idaho is not as racist as everyone thinks it is. So we are out in the middle of the desert. We're driving along, and I see a car that's broken down, and there's a black man. Now, there is not a whole lot of black people here in Idaho, right?
Not a lot.
So I'm thinking nobody else is probably going to stop to help this man. So I'm just like, you know what? We should stop. We should stop and help this man.
No, we shouldn't.
I'm like, what? And she's like, oh. I was like, no one else is going to stop.
Not my problem.
And I'm like, come on, we got to help this guy out.
No, we don't.
See,
no, the fuck we do not.
So see, I just got to say, like, right now, like, she said we already had too many black people in the car.
Niggas already in this little vicinity. It's too many.
She said ninjas.
Ninjas.
That was ninjas for anyone that she has a speech impediment. It was
I a little slow.
Yeah. No, it's too many niggas in the car as it is.
Yeah, that's deplorable. It's bad enough, sister, that you married this heathen. But then he has it in his mind to help an older black gentleman on the side of the road who need help with his car. And she says, no, don't help him. That's deplorable. He's saying, what? Really? Come on, he look like... Nah, keep moving. Destroyed. Make a covenant with death and hell. Okay? All right, so let's get back on you. Yeah, go ahead and read Acts 3 and 21.
Acts chapter 3, verse 21. Whom the heaven must receive until the times of restitution of all things.
Salakia, where did we read that word, restitution? Does anybody remember? Does anybody remember where we read that word, restitution? It's when we were reading in the book of Job. Yeah, the book of Job. Let me see if I can find it again. Bear with me.
Somewhere in chapter 20.
Yeah, chapter 20. Let's see. Verse 18. According to his substance shall the restitution be. What is restitution? To be paid back. Mm-hmm. So read 21 one more time.
Acts 3 and 21. Whom the heaven must receive until the times of restitution of all things.
Salakia, so what is this talking about? Peter is talking about when Christ ascends up. He shall be received into heaven until when?
The restitution of all things.
Meaning the time of the recompense, the big payback. What we read in Job. What we going to read. Because we're about to get into it here in a moment. Christ is going up. He's going to be held there until the time of the restitution of all things. The big payback. The big payback. Right? That's what we waiting on. We wait, because what did Christ say to Peter, Brother Lee? What did he say? When he pulled him aside, right? He said, the kings of the earth. He said, who do they pay tribute to? The children or strangers? And Peter said, the strangers. And then what did he say to him? What did Christ say to Peter? The children are free. We waiting for that big payback so that we can be free, because we ain't free yet. If we were free, then there'd be no reason for him to come. Christ can chill up there, watch Netflix all day. He ain't got nothing to do. He ain't got nothing to look forward to. He can lay back and just do some painting or something. Kick off his flip-flops and just relax. He got nothing to look forward to. But no, there's a time appointed. And when he come back, he's coming with wrath and indignation. The big payback. The restitution of all things. See, that put so nicely, so sweetly, the restitution of all things. You just think, oh, okay. Restitution means to pay back of all things, meaning all things prophesied beforehand. He said, I come in the volume of the book to do thy will, O God. The restitution. So I came to do the first part of my mission. When I come back, I'm coming to finish my mission. And to be honest, this is the fun part. I had to die. That was a little hard. But now I'm coming back for the fun part. I got this sword bathed in heaven. And it's coming down upon Idumea. I got my boys with me, the holy angels. I got my weapons of mass destruction. And I'm headhunting for Esau, Amalek, and all the rest of the heathen. And all the armies that are round about. I'm coming to destroy them. Hallelujah. With fierce wrath and indignation. Bro, grab me Revelation chapter 19. Let's bring it out, man. Mm-hmm. Word, let's bring this thing on out. The book of Revelation chapter 19. And let's deal with... Let's see, 19, and let's see, probably 11. Yep, verse 11.
The book of Revelation, chapter 19, verse 11.
From 11 to 16.
And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse.
Uh-huh.
And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True.
Okay.
And in righteousness he judges and makes war.
He doth judge and make war. So whoever this is, coming on this flying horse... with a name, he's coming to make war. Coming to make war. Okay, if anybody who's a general, leader of a nation, leader of an empire, and he's making war, is he happy?
No.
Is he laughing?
No.
Smiling?
No.
Is he looking for friendship? When somebody is prepared to make war, they are filled with anger and wrath. That's just, like if somebody, what? He said, what? Oh man, this means war. Ain't nobody talking no happy-go-lucky kind of language. We talking about brothers that's upset, angry. I'm about to kill this dude. War. I'm declaring war. Read on. to verse 16. Verse 12.
Verse 12, yeah. His eyes were as a flame of fire.
His eyes were as a flame of fire. So he's already making war. So we can deduce from that he must be upset. And then with his eyes a flame of fire, he must got supernatural power, because none of us got eyes that light up like fire. Okay? So he looking like Goku or something. You know what I'm saying? He looking like a Super Saiyan right now. Read on.
And on his head were many crowns.
Okay, so he got the drip, and he's showing his superiority, right? So he's coming in on a flying white horse. He's got a name. His eyes are lit up. He got gold, jewels, and crowns, or many crowns, right? So you walk in a room, the person that got like if you were to see military men in a room, usually the one that got more stripes and more badges and stuff, he must be the top dog. He's got many crowns, he must be the top dog. Read on.
And he had a name written that no man knew, but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood.
So his vesture, his clothing was dipped in blood. Read on. Because again, Salaki, because we just read in Acts 3:21 that he is taken up and he won't come back until the restitution of all things. So we're wanting to just get a glimpse into what is he restituting? What is he repaying? What is he recompensing? Let's see. Read on.
And his name is called the Word of Yahweh. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses.
Whoa. So he wasn't the only one on a flying white horse. There were armies. Plural. Armies. Plural. Not an army. Because one army could be 1,000,000 soldiers. Armies. That means an innumerable. Grab me that. Give me the book of Jude. Sister. Grab me that. Jude 1 and bear with me. We're going to bring it out. It said armies. Plural. The book of Jude, and we're going to go to verse 14. This will elaborate just a little bit. 14 and 15.
Jude 14 and 15.
Verse 14 and 15.
And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, behold.
So Enoch prophesied, meaning this is going to come to pass. So we're reading in Revelation 19 where it says, him and his armies, plural. Read.
And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, behold, Yahweh cometh with 10,000s of his saints.
10,000s. Plural of his saints. 15.
To execute judgment upon all.
Did he say some?
No, it doesn't say some.
To execute on who?
Upon all.
Half?
All.
On 3/4?
All.
99%?
All.
Read.
And to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds, which they have ungodly committed, and of all their
hard speeches.
Hard speeches. It says heard in here. Hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him.
Okay. So go back to Revelation. Read the rest of what you got.
And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. And he shall rule with them with a rod of iron.
You know what that is? A rod of iron? That's a metal bat. He's going to rule them with a metal bat. That's what's going to happen when he's in power. That's the restitution of all things. Read on.
And he treads the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Yahweh, Lord of hosts.
Okay. Real quick. So is anyone familiar with what a wine press is? Wine press, for those who are not familiar, if you go into any of the cultures in the East, or Middle East, or wherever, Mediterranean, there's a custom to where when you pluck the grapes from the vintage and you're preparing them to make wine, you would put those grapes in a big basin, right? And the women generally of the village or whatever would take off their shoes, and they would get in this press and they would stomp on the grapes. They would stomp on the grapes until it became grape juice. And from that grape juice, it would ferment and become the wine, right? So what the Most High God, what the writer John is describing is, all those grapes are big and plump, but those grapes represent the nations, the wicked of the earth. And who's doing the stomping is not some virgin woman. It's Christ himself, all by himself, with his feet bare, stomping, right? Because it said that his vesture was dipped in blood. These grapes represent the nations. So if you kill them, what will come from them? Blood. That's how there's blood all over his vesture. The wrath. But generally, when you watch videos, if you've seen Italian women in the village on the wine press, they're usually dancing and holding hand. He's not happy. Read that verse again, bruh.
Verse 15. And out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
A metal bat.
And he treads the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Yahweh, Lord of hosts.
Okay, so he's doing what the Most High God wants him to do. He has wrath towards destroying these nations in the winepress. Read on.
And he has on his vesture and on his thigh a name written.
King of Kings.
Okay, it's in Hebrew. King of Kings and Lord of Lords, right?
Yep. That's all I wanted. So this is the restitution of all things. Christ is coming to pay back the evil of the earth and to restore the children of Israel to their rightful place.
You know what I heard one Edomite say in one video I was watching one day? He was like, tattoos aren't wrong. Even Yahweh Shai or even Jesus wore tattoos, and he referred to this verse in this chapter.
Yes.
Saying, have you seen it? Saying that he had a tattoo on his thigh with this verse, claiming that on his thigh name was written King of Kings and Lord of Lords. That was a tattoo that Yahweh Shai had.
Yeah, I've heard that, but that would contradict the law about printing marks on you. Now, if there be something engraved in his skin, so to speak, just like we said, there'll be a name written upon our forehead. It's not something we put on us. It's something the Most High God do, right? So I'm not going to go and speculate as to what it is. It could very well just be that it was something embroidered or something engraved upon the garment he had. He had a vesture. That's what I believe it could be. But if there were anything in his incorporeal body, then it was something that the Most High God, in that prepared, glorified body, that was engraved therein. Because even the Most High God says that ye are engraved upon my hand, right? So does he have a tattoo of us? I'm not going to call it a tattoo, but it's something that he planted there, not we plant ourselves. That's the problem. So you're trying to conflate something that Christ has in his glorified body to you breaking the commandment of God. See, that's how we go up. But that's Edom for you anyway. But I want to finish this out. So we're going to go to Isaiah chapter 60.
I didn't finish reading Acts 3 and 21. Is that okay?
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Go ahead and read it real quick then.
Which Yahweh has spoken by the mouth of all his holy prophets since the world began.
Yeah, you read that already. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 5, 11, and 12. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 5, 11, and 12. We're going to see a little bit more about the restitution of all things. Because in order for us to be free, we need reparations. Let's see what reparations look like according to the Bible. If we were free according to the Bible, we would have got at least what our forefathers got out of Egypt, or we're going to get, or what I'll say is, the nation that has enslaved us have been hypocrites. We understand that. I don't want any of your niceties. Job talking about the children shall try to give good unto the poor. I don't want any of your good. You keep that. I want it when Christ demands it of you. With that rod of iron, with that sharp sword that goeth out of his mouth, with that wrath of the wine press, I want you to give it then. That's when I want it. Because you're giving me scraps now. But you're going to give according to your substance shall be the restitution thereof. I don't want your version of justice. I want Christ's version of justice. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I want Christ's version of justice. Go ahead and read his version of justice. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 5.
They give us their version of justice. Wasn't that when they bowed down to some black people and prayed?
Man, you better go. You better go ahead with that.
When they gave us during COVID
the stimulus checks.
$100,
Yeah.
They put it right back into their hand.
That was nothing. That was an experiment. They threw out what was it? A virus or whatever that they probably made or whatever.
They did
in their labs, and then gave us a little money. Even though we didn't sign up to do this, this is something that they ran as an experiment. Like, hey, let's give them some money, because they were lab rats.
Yeah, it's just like if you go and you if you be a guinea pig for these like new drugs, they'll give you a check. So kind of the same thing. You go do that, I'm gonna give you a little check.
Got it. Yeah, and you may get the what is it when it's the real thing, and then the other one is
I know what you're saying. I can't think of it right now.
I can't think of it either.
Placebo.
The placebo and the real deal. Some people got the real deal and died.
The placebo is the fake one.
Yes.
But anybody see their phones go off this afternoon?
Yes.
So that was some
alarm thing.
Yeah, that was the FEMA. It was nationwide, and there were people conspiring and saying, not conspiring, believing it was a conspiracy that it has to do with the nanotechnology for those who took the COVID shot and whatnot, that it was going to activate it or whatever. And who knows? But I have nothing to worry about because I didn't take it. But yeah, go ahead and read that. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 5, 11, and 12. So we want to see Christ's version of justice. Read on.
The book of Isaiah chapter 60, verse 5. Then ye shall see and flow together, and your heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be turned back unto you.
So what is Christ saying? What the Most High God saying to the children of Israel? He said, your heart is going to give out. You're going to be amazed. Think about that. The things that the Most High God is going to do for us, we're going to sit back and say, what? You going to do that? How? How did God make this happen? How, Sway? How in the world did this happen? Read that again.
Then I'm reading from the King James Version this time. Verse 5. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee.
Meaning you're going to see the whole world be turned in your favor. The whole planet is going to be turned to your favor. And your heart going to melt like, you're going to faint. That's what the Most High God is saying. You ain't going to be able to receive it, because I'm going to make it so unbelievable to you. It's going to be incredible. Read on, verse 11 and 12.
I didn't finish verse 5. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee.
What is that? The forces of the Gentile? If you go into that word, the forces meaning riches. That mean what does that mean then? According to our lesson, what is that talking about? Reparations.
Yahweh Shai, being a great extortioner, is going to get us by force.
By force. With that rod of iron in his hand.
Yeah.
I wish you would try to hold back. I wish you would. You gonna get a lump you ain't never seen before. Metal back right to your forehead. Now go get that money like I told you. Yes, Lord. You bet not come back without it. Bow down and kiss my foot, and then kiss my children's feet too. Give me your money. Give me your jewels. Put it right here. Read on.
Verse 11. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually.
To do what? Why would they be open continually? For the nation. For the yes, but for the nations to provide our reparations. Yeah. That's what it is. I don't want Esau's justice today. You can keep it. I want Christ's justice when you're forced to give us our reparations right then. And the Most High God is saying, when I cause them to do it, because he's such a hypocrite now, it'll be unbelievable when I make him do it then. Like, what? You made this wicked white man bow down and kiss my feet and give me all the jewels in his you know how you ever seen the rich white people, he got behind the picture, he got the safe, and he got the safe, and he got all types of precious jewels and all types of assets back there. Sometimes there's a walk-in vault. Move the book and the bookshelf move over, and behind there's a big vault. All this is a huge safety box. Christ gonna make them get everything up in there. I want it all. I even want the dust in there. I want it all. Grab it all and bring it. That's gold dust.
Okay.
Not regular dust. That's gold dust. I want the gold dust too. Sweep it up in a dustpan and bring that along too.
I don't want nothing that they wore on their necks. I want them to melt down their gold and make me something brand new.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
what I want, because I don't want nothing that they had on their skin.
Or didn't they have necklaces of baby ears, of our baby's ears? Huh?
I never heard that.
I think they because they perverted like that. But the Bible says, repay unto them double. So when we bash, because happy is he that taketh their little ones and bash them upon the stone. When we cut off little Timmy's ears, little Timmy's nose, we going to make little trinkets. You know what I'm saying? According to prophecy, to be repaid. But it says that the gates should be open to bring our reparations. Read on. You're almost finished.
They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. And you said verse 12. Right?
Yes. So the kings are being brought to do what? They're coming to, having a discussion or having a Bible study. What's going on here? Let's read and see what these kings of the nations are going to do.
Verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Wait, so you mean to tell me these nations that we serve now, that they're going to end up serving us, and that there's going to be a decree from heaven that if they do not serve us, they will perish from off the face of the earth? Wow. That's how God says your heart going to melt when you see this. You ain't even going to believe it. You're like, what? For me? Yeah, for you, for my child. This is what you get, because you're not free now. But I'm going to make you free. And when I make you free, you're going to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are indeed free. For whom the Son sets free is free indeed.
Hallelujah.
You going to know. It ain't going to be no doubt before you, before your brethren, or before the nations. Everybody going to know, oh, these the people of God right here. These the chosen. Is that all of 12? Read on.
Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. That's the one.
Now I want you from there, the very last scripture, I want you to jump to the next chapter. Read Isaiah I'm sorry. What did I have you read?
Chapter 60.
Okay. So now I want you to jump to the next chapter. Isaiah chapter 61, verses 6 and 7.
Isaiah chapter 61, verse 6. But ye shall be named the priest of Yahushai. Or okay, so I'm just going to say how it is. But ye shall be named the priest of the Lord. Men shall call you the ministers of our God.
So again, beyond a shadow of a doubt, both you and the nation of the earth going to know who are the blessed. So they know that you are the ministers of God. The nations are going to call you that. Read.
Excuse me. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles.
You see it again in a whole nother chapter. He said that they shall bring the force of the Gentiles. Now you're going to eat the riches of the Gentiles. This is reparations. You can keep that crap that you want to give me, college loans. Wait. So you mean to tell me I should accept of you college loans to go to an institution that was built off the endowment of my forefathers to teach me perverted knowledge in academics and academia, to get a degree that may or may not profit me in the job market? Why can't you just give me the education free anyway? There's no guarantee that I'll make profit off of that anyway. It's like a crapshoot. It's like a crapshoot. I go and get this degree. That don't guarantee me a job. That don't guarantee me 6-figure income. That don't guarantee me success. That don't guarantee me anything. All it guarantees me is that I've sat in the classroom and learned a lot of stuff, and I have a lot of debt. And I got a piece of paper maybe to constitute I've learned enough from the white man to be vouched for to get a job. But that doesn't mean, even for you, you talk about when you get a degree and being an educator, there's still the in the classroom knowledge that you do not know. Mm-hmm. And yes, you could be hired off the street, so to speak, but that does not mean that will translate to you being a good teacher. There's still a lot of experience that you have to learn, that you really only learn in the classroom. Yeah. Same thing applies with other jobs in different industries. There's a certain knowledge that you won't get unless you're in the. You get prime example. When I worked at my last job, we have a work vehicle, utility vehicle that was broken down, and we called for one of the manufacturing mechanics to come, and he came. He took a look at it. Smart brother, Hispanic brother, right? Really, he knew what he was doing. But he talked about how when he was in Puerto Rico, he has a degree in engineering. He has a degree in engineering. And I asked him, if you have a degree in engineering, why aren't you like an engineer and doing something better than this? And he's saying that pretty much that degree don't really translate in America. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like nothing. He would almost have to go back to college now and relearn all of what he learned in Puerto Rico. His degree in Puerto Rico means much of nothing in America. Mm-hmm. He has a knowledge. So I'm sure if he had the wherewithal, he could do it and be successful, but it's like it don't mean nothing. So how much more? That degree don't mean nothing here. Mm-hmm. Okay? Read on.
And in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. Verse 7, for your shame ye shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore in their land they shall possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them.
Wow. Wow. This is what the children of Israel will receive. This is the reparation. This is the reparation. So we're going to end it right there. I'm going to continue on with part 2 of this, talking about emancipation and autonomy. But there are 3 tenets, like I mentioned before, that you have to meet in order to be considered free biblically. Reparations, emancipation, autonomy, or subduing your oppressor, right? And we have not gotten the reparations, so we're in captivity. So again, the title, don't believe the hype. This is still captivity. And with that, I will say shalom.
This book of the covenant established by the Most High God may not in any wise be embellished, omitted, redacted, redefined, or plagiarized. Authority to declare these contents must be expressly granted by divine consent of the Most High God.